Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 15, May 7th, 2024, of my 365-day raw journey of suspending disbelief. And let me tell you, today's a raw one. Um, I'm going to try to put it in order, just tell it in order, even though some of the things I didn't realize in order or didn't become aware of in order or whatever. Just so that it hopefully makes a little bit more sense. Um, but today was definitely one of those days. And I know that it wasn't only for me. I seriously considered paring it down a little bit today because I didn't want it to sound like a sob story. And like it really is not a sob story, although I did feel sorry for myself for a little while today. I'm not gonna lie. There was some periods of the day where I was like, oh my gosh, why? But for the most part, this is not a sob story. It just is what it is. It's the breakdown before the breakthrough. It's the shit hitting the fan so that, whatever isn't serving gets out of the way kind of thing. And I know that, and I was aware of it even while it was happening. That doesn't make it less frustrating when it's happening. So a little bit of validation there. If you're having a rough day, if you're having a rough week, month, whatever, like it doesn't make it less frustrating just because you know that there's a reason for it. So just putting that out there. Today was very frustrating. I'm not super proud of all of the things that happened today, but I'm going to share them anyways because this is my raw verbal journal for a year, and I've promised to be vulnerable and honest and sharing all the things, right? So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to have to make use of the notes that I shared with my unofficial mastermind ladies today, because there's just so much. um, so, to start off with, last night I um, was listening to a card reading, um, which was super, super aligned and right on point the whole time. And in one reading, I received the cards with the angel numbers 777, 888, and 999, all in one reading. It was like a literal knock on the door from the universe to be like, hey, pay attention. Shit's going to go down. Like something's coming to an end. You are very, very quickly moving through the last of it. It's going to be rough. Like it was a warning. And I saw it as a warning at the time. And I was like, holy crap. And of course, I was listening to this towards the end of the night last night. So I put it out of my head, went to bed, whatever. Today was the day that those numbers came to play. And I forgot all about it until I was going to look for a picture for something else and saw, because I had screenshotted the three cards because I was just like, as if 777, 888, 999, all in one reading. So when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I totally had warning about this day. So today started out great. Most of the day was not bad. Okay, I got up in the morning earlier than I have been. I improved on my schedule a little bit. As a quick update, I have not been perfect with my 10 o'clock bedtime. I'm really working on it, you guys. 10 o'clock is very early for me, so I have struggled. I have been going to bed earlier than I was, but not quite 10 o'clock every night. So still making progress, and tonight I think I will definitely hit my goal because I'm exhausted. But I was up early this morning, had some time for myself, got to do some self-care. As soon as I woke up, I was noticing like this tightness in my neck. And it was it was at the front of my neck. It was a weird spot. And I instantly had the thought come to mind that it was related to throat chakra. And I was like, okay, like I'm up early. I've got the time. I'm going to take a journey. I'm going to look into this. And it absolutely was throat chakra. There was a bunch of throat chakra stuff coming through. And I was like, okay, so like our chakras can get bunged up, right? They just, things come up, or um the things that came up today that needed to be said, like throat chakra was coming through for me first thing in the morning. And that was great. All was well. Okay. Um, I had um, my oldest was the only one at home still. The younger two are with their dad still. And I got a message from my daughter's friend saying, "Hey, me and my dad are in town. He drove me today because it's raining. It's been raining here for days. Like, I'm done with it." Although I'm super, super, super grateful. We need the moisture because we get a lot of fires here in the summer, especially the last few years. So very grateful for the moisture, but like I'm ready for some sunshine. I thrive in the sunlight, so it's a little bit of a struggle for me, but um, anyway, they were driving to school, so they were like, "Do you want us to pick Cadence up and take her?" And I was like, "Sure, that's great, because I'm not driving the other two. That means I don't even have to leave the house." Um, and I okayed it, and Cadence ran out the door, got in the vehicle, and I was watching through the window as this girl's dad lit up a cigarette in the truck with the girls. They're 13 years old, okay? And some people maybe don't think that's a big deal. I think that's a big fucking deal. I was not happy at all. And I was a smoker for 20 years. So I'm not even judging smoking. But even as a smoker, when I had children, I never smoked in a vehicle with my children in the vehicle. Like, this is not the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. Like, you guys, we know better, right? And it made me so upset. And I had previously asked my daughter whether or not that was the case, because I had seen him getting out of his truck. They were already out, but I saw him getting out of his truck with just the end of a cigarette. And I asked her about it, and I was like, "Did he just smoke in the truck with you guys?" And she was like, "Nope, that didn't happen." Like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope." She denied, denied, denied. And I was like, "It was the end of a cigarette." And she was like, "Yeah, I think he just like lit one that was partly smoked already right after we got out." And I was like, "Okay." But I had asked, and she had straight up lied about it in the past. So on top of being really upset that he was smoking in a vehicle with my child, I was also really upset that my daughter had lied to me. Okay. Lying is my absolute number one. Like, you don't cross that line. It's my huge pet peeve. I cannot stand it when people lie. So that was bugging me all day. I had a call in the morning. My internet was crappy and like cutting in and out, and just made it a pain, just a connection call. And then all day trying to get any work done, trying to accomplish anything, my internet, it was like struggle, struggle, struggle. And I don't know if it was because of the weather or what, it was just super slow. Um, and I was trying to follow the nudges, right? I was trying to be like, okay, like, is this for a reason? Like, should I not be working on this? I was trying to like pivot a little bit. What am I doing? Um, Nothing was working, right? Nothing was helping me get there. And I will say, I was being like extremely patient with it. I was like, it's fine. Like, we're not in a rush. We're always at the right time, or right place, the right time. Um, Everything's fine. And um, so kind of on top of everything else, I had, because my two younger kids had been with their dad, I hadn't had a chance to bring in money for a hot dog lunch that I needed to bring in for my son. And it was due by the end of the day today. So I was like, okay, no problem. Like, even though I'm not going in the morning, like, I'll run to the bank before I go pick him up from school at the end of the day, and I'll get that money in, get it, so that that's all done. And you guys, I I really hate sharing this part. Like, this part for me is a struggle to share. I'm sharing it anyways because this is the raw uncut, right? I'm not leaving things out. But I had $9 in my bank account today and I needed 5 for his hot dog lunch. And to me that was like no big deal. And again, there's no sob story here. Like we have food. I'm okay. Like my bills are paid. I'm just in a paycheck to paycheck state lately, instead of the overflow, the abundance that I'm coming into. It's coming. I believe it totally. But anyway, I took out 5. Okay. But, oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead here. So it was the end of the day, or like coming up to the end of the school day. I made sure that I got ready to leave early so that I could have time to go to the bank, get there early, pay this thing before I picked up my son. Got my daughter up from her nap, my youngest, and got out, got everybody into the car, dog, kid, me, whatever. And my car wouldn't start. And um, pardon me, just throat's getting dry. So I was leaving early. It took me a while to get my car started. I still don't know what was wrong with it. It sounded awful. Um, but I did end up eventually getting it started and got on the road. And I wasn't late yet. I was still like, okay, I still have enough time. I had left myself plenty of time, right? Which is already a win for me because a lot of the time I tend to like go to the last minute. But I didn't do that today. And even the car not starting didn't put me to the point where I was late. But I got on the road and I was behind somebody else, an elderly gentleman who was going about 10 in a 40 zone. And I was like, okay, dude, come on. And there was room to pass him. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go around him. Like, I'm not frustrated with him. I'm not honking at him. I'm nothing, right? There was no road rage. But I was like, I'm going to go around him because 10 is insane. And as soon as I pulled up beside him, he swerved at me and was like yelling at me, giving me the finger through the window. And like I had to swerve off onto the sidewalk, um, to avoid being hit by his car. And I was like, whoa, holy shit. And just like went past him. I was like, holy cow, that guy's nuts, kind of thing, whatever. And kept going. And I got to the bank and I was like, okay, I I forgot to transfer the money over into the account so I could pull it out of my checking with my card. So I like pulled up in front of the bank and I didn't even park my car yet. I literally just pulled up there and I hadn't pulled into a stall or whatever. And this another elderly gentleman, I don't know what it was with the old dudes today, you guys. It was like, what the hell? But another one comes up and he's like waving his finger at me just and yelling at me through the car. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, whatever. Like, I just transferred the money over and made sure that my phone was going to let me get into my bank because everything else was going wrong. And then I parked my car. I had to leave my daughter with the keys in the ignition running because I'm like, I don't want my car to not turn back on, right? Because it hadn't started. And you guys, I live in a small town for anyone that scares. Like, I don't love doing that, but I didn't feel unsafe doing it at the same time. Like we live in a small town. It's nice enough. Like I wasn't super worried. But I didn't love doing it anyway. So I left her in the car, went into the bank, and this guy who had been yelling at me and like wagging his finger at me was at the machine partway through his transaction and he turned around and starts giving me shit and was like laying into me. And I was just like, my mind was blown. I was like, why are people yelling at me today? Like, I don't understand. I'm not doing anything. I'm not like, what is so offensive about me today? And this guy was just giving me so much shit. And I actually was like, excuse you, you don't know me. You had no idea what was going on. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you angry with me? Like, just can you just finish your transaction, please? I need to get to machine. And he would not stop. He kept going. And I was like, okay. I turned around. I walked into the bank because I was like, whatever, I'll just go to the teller. Like, this guy's being a jerk. And I go into the bank, and guys, it's a small town. I've never been into this bank, but the two ladies at the behind the counter are like in slow motion, kind of. It reminded me of the scene in Zootopia with the sloth. Like, everybody was just kind of like, "Ah, yeah," and they're chatting with another lady that was at the counter, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you guys, like, I'm trying not to be impatient. I know it's not their fault that now I'm running out of time, but I'm like, seriously? Can we move any faster?" And I didn't say anything. I was patient, you guys. I didn't say anything. I wasn't rude. But this guy was still out. I kept watching. I was like, well, if he goes quick enough, I'll just go back to the thing. But nope, he was still out there. He was waiting for me to come back out, you guys. So I waited, got the money from the woman at the till, took forever. And I was like, okay. And I come out and he's like trying to go at me again. I just ran out to my car. I was like, get me the F out of here. Like, I am so beyond done. And um got in my car, whatever, go to the school. Again, it's like raining. It hasn't stopped raining. So I was like, I'm not taking you out of the car, Casey. I'm leaving you here with the keys again. I'm running into the office. And went in, paid for the food, like got there. I got there just in time, you guys. Like, I still wasn't late. I'm so proud of myself for how early I left. Okay. But um in between like the bank visit and going to my son's school, I tried to go to my daughter's school, my older daughter's school, and pick her up because it was raining, and couldn't find her. So I'm like, okay, I have to go. Like, I can't stay. She tried calling the phone that I'm using as a replacement because mine got smashed recently. If you remember from one of the earlier episodes, um, my son crushed it with the car door. So until I can afford to repair that one, I have this loaner from my ex, which is a phone that he had previously crushed and got the front fixed, but like there's no front facing camera. There's problems with it. It also doesn't answer phone calls. So I had tried to go get my daughter from the school, turned around, was like, "Hey, I'm going to head to my son's school." And just after I turned around, I got a call from her school, but I couldn't answer the call. So I was like, "Okay, she's trying to call." So she hasn't left yet. So I went back and I waited, and I'm like, I waited maybe 2 minutes tops because I was already pushing the time so tightly, right? And she didn't come out, and she knows I can't answer my phone. So I was like, "Girl, get your butt out here. Like, just check, look out the window so I can be like, come get in the car." Nope, nothing. So I ended up having to go again. She walked home in the rain. Anyway, I got to the school, paid for the food, and then got them to call my son to the office so I didn't have to go stand in the rain waiting for him outside. And I haven't seen my son for 3 days. He's been at his dad's. His dad brought him to school yesterday, picked him up, took him back home with him, kind of thing, right? So he was gone on the weekend. He was gone yesterday. He was gone all day today. I'm like, the last time that was the situation, he came running out of his school to give me a big hug, like, missed me, right? It's been a few days. And anyway, I got them to call him to the office. He came and he's carrying his rain boots in his hand because he's walking through the school. And I'm like, "Hey, bud, how was your day?" And he just wailed me, like hit me with his rain boots. And I was like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And um, I'm like, "Dude, why? Like, why are, are you okay?" I'm like, "Excuse me, I missed you. Can I have a hug?" And he then like backed up and ran and headbutted me in the stomach and like almost winded me. And I was like, "You know what, bud? I don't have the patience for this. Get your boots on, get out to the car, or you can walk home in the rain. I'm done." Like, I was at that point by this point. I was like, "Get your butt in the car." And so he put his boots on and he followed me. I started walking away. He followed me and he kept headbutting me the whole way to the car and would not talk. I'm like, "What is wrong?" Um, and again, like once we got in the car, I tried to drive around town, try to see if I could pick up my daughter, save her some of the walking in the rain. Nothing. And as I'm driving around, my gas light comes on in the car. Like, refuel, time to refuel. I'm like, "Oh, good, because I have $4 left in my bank account." I'm like, "No, no, I am not gonna go turn my car off at the gas station, possibly not be able to restart it just to put $4 in." I'm like, "No." So I just went home. I was like, "Whatever. Hopefully my car will start in the morning. If not, my kids aren't going to school tomorrow." kind of a thing, right? Um, until I have more money to put gas in my car. Anyway, uh, and then, we get home. My son, I'm fairly certain is autistic, and he really holds it in at school, and he comes home and he lets it out, right? And it can be really frustrating after school. I try to always prep myself for that so that I can hold it, so I can handle it. Um, but we got home and he started on his usual tantrums kind of energy after school, and I was just like, "You know what, dude? No, you haven't even said hello to me. You have not treated me like a human being, and I'm not going to tolerate this right now. I've hit my limit. So go have a tantrum somewhere else or else rein it in because I don't want to yell at you." And like halfway through my sentence, he started hitting my dog. And I was just like, what the actual fuck? Like, I'm get out of my room. I'm ready to lose my mind. Um, and then Cadence, my oldest, comes in and starts telling me like, "Oh, I need this thing from you, and there's this thing happening on that day, and blah blah." And I just said like, "You know what? My brain is done right now. I'm at the point of frustration with everything where I stopped caring how anyone else's day even was. Leave me alone, please, now. Like, get out." And then my youngest, Casey, starts like, "Can I play the video game? Can I do that?" And like just on me, on me, on me. And I was like, "No, no, just no, get out. We're not adding screens to the mix right now. Get out, everyone." Right. And I was just like, "I'm done." Um, and I was so frustrated. Like, I was just at the point of like beyond done. And at one point today, even I hit like where I started yelling at my guides, like my spirit team. I was like, "You guys, enough, enough. Help me out here. Like, anything. Make something a little bit easier for me, please. Like, I've got kids to feed. I'm doing my part. I'm showing up. I'm busting my ass when I'm supposed to. I'm stopping whenever you guys tell me to. I'm trusting. I'm slowing down. I'm speeding up. I'm listening. Like, enough. Just stop already." And I was like, "Help me out. Like, this is ridiculous." And I mean, nothing changed instantly from that, but hopefully they got the message like this is enough. Um, I ended up giving quite an earful to three men today. Okay, and this is where the throat chakra piece comes in, on my ex-husband, because when he dropped my daughter off this morning to my house after dropping my son off at school, he brought some bags in. I assumed it was like the rain gear, extra clothes, whatever, like the random stuff that comes back and forth from house to house. But there was the day before, he had asked me, he was going to be out and about. He was like, "Do you need some eggs? I'm going to pick up eggs." And I told him no, because he specifically will buy things to then hold over my head later, or to like throw in my face, or to use as a story to tell someone else about how amazing he is, right? So, um, I was very clear. I was like, "No, no, I do not need eggs. And no, you keep complaining about how you have no extra money. So don't be spending it on eggs for me that I don't need." You guys, he went and he bought me fucking eggs. And it sounds like I'm being ungrateful, but you guys, like, you have to know how manipulative and how emotionally abusive and mentally like fucked up this guy is. Like, he will twist everything. So he bought the eggs. He also included some cookies, put those in the bag, buried it in other stuff so I wouldn't see it till later, didn't tell me about it. The eggs sat at my front door because I was busy dealing with all this other shit. They sat there all day. They're going back to him. I'm not taking them. The last time he randomly bought me groceries, he bought 8 dozen eggs, you guys. He bought me 3 dozen today. I still had eggs left from last time. I was like, "Dude, I have almost nothing else left for groceries except dry goods. Like, I've got no fresh fruit right now. I have frozen fruit. I don't have fresh fruit. I don't have yogurt. I don't have cheese. I don't have like all the snacks the kids want. I literally am currently using powdered milk to make milk instead of buying a jug of milk." And again, this is not a sob story. Like, I have food, we're fed, we're okay, right? Um, but we're not starving, but I don't need eggs. I have eggs still. Like, if I'm gonna buy some fresh food, I'm gonna buy something else. So I literally was like, if you really feel like spending all of this extra money that you supposedly don't have, how about you just throw the money my way and I'll buy the groceries that I need because I know what's in my fridge and in my pantry and you fucking don't. So stop it. And then I sent one to my oldest dad going on about how, like, the lying, the other parent smoking in the vehicle with her, all of this stuff. I had to restrain myself a bit from some of the other things that I wanted to say because I'm like, she was trying to connect with him this weekend and he didn't respond till the end of the day, when he had made plans with her to, like, they were gonna be gaming kind of thing. And there was just it was just another layer, and I was, like, trying to hold that in because I yeah, I was just like, I don't need to unleash my frustration on this situation about that when that wasn't something I was going to say before, right? And then I also messaged the father of this child and gave him a piece of my mind also because I was like, in this day and age, who the fuck smokes with a child in their car? Like, how dare you? Like, it's bad enough you do it with your own child, but that's my child. That's not even your own child. Like, how dare you? And on top of that, you've lied to me so many times and I've bit my tongue about it. No more. My daughter will never be in your vehicle again, and she will not be at your house when you're in town because I don't trust you at all. Period. The end. Right. And you guys, like, it was just so much. And I really, again, throat chakra. The truth was coming out today. Like, I was not biting my tongue, being polite, keeping the peace today with all of this other shit that was coming up. And I will tell you right now, not one of those three has had the balls to message me back and try to defend themselves or to try to, like, pretend like what I'm saying isn't real, gaslight me, whatever, all of the things. Anyway, I had this big rant. I ranted out to my mastermind ladies. And then I went on Facebook and I was like, even as I was opening it, I was like, why am I opening Facebook? Like, what a stupid choice. But I opened it and one of my memories from a year ago popped up and it said, like, I had quoted something that Rebecca Campbell said, the falling apart will not let up until our inner and outer worlds are aligned. And then I had asked, are you feeling unaligned between your inner and outer world? And part of me was like, shit. Yes, I know that this is the falling apart that is helping me align. I know this. I do. I totally had some feel bad for me moments during all of it, but I was like, I do know this. But at the same time, I was really frustrated. Like, I was like, how am I not aligned enough to have enough to just, always have the groceries that we need? Like, we always have food, but like, I like to eat healthy. I like to feed my children healthy. I like to have fresh foods. I don't want to eat all of the boxed and canned and processed foods. Like, those are there for emergency or for when I need to supplement a meal with something, not for me to eat all the time. And we feel like crap when we're eating like that, right? I'm like, how am I not even aligned enough to always have the fresh food groceries? Like, that was kind of the thing that was really bugging me, right? I'm like, um, I know I do know, and I said this at the time and I really meant it. I do believe it's coming. Without a doubt, I know my success is inevitable despite everything. I still believe that, mind, body, and soul. I have completely suspended disbelief and I know it. But why does it have to suck this hard on the way? Is what I was saying, right? And it was just um on top of all of that, I had all day, I was unable to, like, add a picture in our chat or in on Facebook. I couldn't send a voice note, so I had to type everything out. Like, my phone was just being a real pain in the ass today. And it had gotten so bad at this point that I finally just turned it off and back on to see if it would help. And of course, everything was fixed. So I was able to send pictures, I was able to send voice notes. And then I was like so grateful that I had fixed it. And also so frustrated that I hadn't tried doing that earlier in the day. Right. And I got to the point at that point where like I had yelled at Cadence, I had lost my temper, I had been like, get out of my sight to my kids. Like, I don't want you guys in here right now. Leave me alone. I'm done. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Like, if you're not a parent and you want to judge that, go right ahead. If you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. We have our days. I am usually patient, beyond patient, and I just was like, I'm done today. Um, I did not feel very good about how I had yelled at her and everything, but at the same time, I don't get that angry with her for anything other than lying. Like lying really, really, really pushes me over the edge. Anyway, I got to the point where I was like, I'm done. I'm like crying, laughing, like total meltdown. Um, and talking to Kelly in our chat, like she was reminding me of I had received the message a couple of days back where my frequency, like my soul's frequency, has been raised. It is higher. And it doesn't actually, our vibration, like this high vibe, stay positive, stay happy stuff, is all bullshit because it's not actually about your vibration. Our vibrations are meant to fluctuate up and down. What matters for what you're calling in is your frequency, your soul's frequency, the level that you've achieved in that regard. And I know that a couple of hours of low vibe mood on my part is not enough to throw this train off its track. Nothing can stop it. I do believe that. Um, and anyway, so all of this, it was just, again, it was one of those days. I literally closed at my door and I was like, you guys fend for yourselves. Cadence, make some eggs since we have all these eggs. And you guys eat. And then the younger two were like, we want a bath. So I'm like, yeah, pour them a bath. No problem. I'm staying in my room, like calming down. And I heard something fall. And I was like, everybody okay? Like, what was that? And Casey was like, it was nothing. And anyway, later on, like once they were done with the bath, they got out. I did end up like emerging from my cave to come out and be like, okay, I'm going to get them to bed and have some snuggles and repair some relationships a little bit here and whatever. Once I had tucked them in, I went into the bathroom. The bath was still full and it was like whiter than white. So what had fallen was my soap bar. It's a salt soap bar. And for those of you who don't know, a really great way to clear your energy is with salt. Either like a salt bath with bath salts, or you can actually get like salt soap. And I have this salt soap, but it dissolves very, very quickly. um, so I had this brand new bar of salt soap. I had run out recently of bath salts. I do like to take salt baths and salt showers and stuff like that to help clear my energy. And so I had run out of the bath salts recently. Again, don't have the money at the moment to be buying more. And I have this bar of soap that could still do me for a really long time. And it mostly all dissolved in that bathtub today, in between when they were in there, and it fell and they said it was nothing. And the point when I found that bathtub. So I still have a little bit of my salt soap bar left, not much. But they had also had like it was a fairly hot bath. So I was less than an hour, I think, after they'd gotten it out. And I was like, you know what? I could probably really use a salt bath and it's still kind of warm. So I'm going to get in that thing. Let me tell you guys, what you do not want on a rainy, chilly day is a cold ass bath. That was miserable. It was miserable. Um, and to top it all off, I slipped and fell on the deck outside on the rainy, wet, slippery deck. And I just like laid there in the rain. I was like, okay, yep, this makes sense. I'm on my ass on the deck. Like, yeah, I'm good. Um, I'd also had I recently just did changed out my sheets on my bed and Jace let the dog in didn't dry his feet or tell him to sit and wait or anything. And he came running in, and my bedding that I had just recently changed now has muddy dog prints, like dog footprints on it. Um, I could go on and on. It was that kind of day, right? Um, I I'm just that, it was a day, and it was like, I know. As this is happening, I'm laughing because I'm just like, this is horrible, and like the thing that's coming must be amazing. Like, totally suspending disbelief here. This is not a sign of like, oh, my life is failing, or my plans are failing, or like nothing's working out for me. No, actually, this is the sign of everything that isn't in alignment falling away. And that means, either breaking off relations with someone who crossed a boundary that I cannot allow to be crossed by smoking in a vehicle with my child. Um, Changing a pattern of the way things have been with my ex, where he will buy us food, and I'm like, yeah, we don't have a ton of food, so I'm just gonna take it. Um, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, no, I have full belief that enough money is coming and I can buy my own groceries. And I do know that for a fact. But I'm like, no, those eggs are going back to his house. By the way, the eggs my daughter made were not some of the ones that he brought. Like, those eggs are going back to his house the next time my kids go back. Because I said no. And this like forcing it on me thing so that he has something to hold over my head is not going to happen. So, cutting away these things that are not the life that I am calling in. This is not the life I am allowing myself to live anymore. Um, I am, I'm done with that path. It's no longer part of my life, and I'm not allowing other people to make it so anymore. Right. And so the throat chakra coming in hard this morning, me speaking up for all of these things that were kind of not so horrible, or, like whatever, I didn't know they were so bad. Well, they all came to light today. It moved very quickly, and it just went like boom, 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 boom. And I spoke up about it. So all in all, great day. Tomorrow's going to be amazing. Um, and this is the longest episode to date. It was a lot to share. Um, and trying to put it all in order rather than like how I pieced it all together after the fact, after like feeling like I got run over, right? But if you listen till the end, thank you for listening. If you are committed to suspending disbelief with us, drop your commitment in the Q&A section in the show notes of the episode. Um, if you're following Kelly's blog, comment on her posts. If you're listening to Jess's Telegram, share about it. Like, if you guys are doing this with us, do it with us. This is a movement. This is unstoppable. This is something that isn't going to stop. Yesterday, I know I talked about how it seemed like the listenership had dropped off a bit. And like I said, I don't care. I don't mind. Um, but if you are taking part in this, like, grab hold of this momentum, because as much as days like this suck, they are bringing exactly what we need, exactly what we want, exactly what we're calling in. And our success is inevitable. We're always in the right place at the right time. We're suspending disbelief. So commit, do it with us. And if you're having days like the day I had today, make sure you're talking about it. Make sure you are in the room with us, that you are chatting about this stuff, so that you are not alone in it. Guys, I was not alone in this today. I had my space where I was able to go and be like, "Oh my gosh, you guys," and be kind of dumping it a little bit. And um we've all taken our turns with that in our chat, so I don't feel guilty about that. But if you need a space like that, join this movement in a way where you are interacting. And like I mentioned in a previous episode, I have opened up a container where I am available to mentor, to coach through days like today. Um, so if you want to join that, comment about that. Let me know on Facebook. Send me a direct message. Um, you guys, something amazing is coming. I know that. I know that with every ounce of my being. And that's why it was hard to share this episode today, not because I want to hide the things that are happening, although they're not great to talk about, but because I don't want it to seem like, oh my gosh, okay, everything's going wrong for her. This is a failure. Like, no, success is coming. My success is inevitable. This is a train that can't be stopped. And I believe that with every ounce of my being. So, okay, very long episode. Almost could just break it right in two and make 2 days. I won't do that. Okay, I love you all, and I will talk to you tomorrow with, I am certain, a much better day.